Salutations!
Hey, what's up, guys? It's Chris here. Oh, yeah. I gotta say that part. Your number one ghost host.
And Greg, your Disney detective. And today, we are embarking upon a quest as we discuss one of the many, many famous superheroes to ever grace the Marvel Studios screen, who also has one of the most impeccable vocabulary lists.
Thor.
Clearly. It's so much fun to talk like him. Right, old chap?
Yep, I don't talk like that.
Oh, come on. Don't be such a worrywart.
No, I don't talk like that. I just talk like America. Not Captain America, but just America.
Fine, I'll just have all the fun.
All right, sounds good. You have all the fun.
All right.
Hey guys, it's my Disney addiction. Happy to be back with you again. Always excited to keep talking and being there for you. I know it's been kind of crazy here. Everybody be doing that self-isolation or
social distancing.
Social distancing, that's it.
But hey, we have the
Craig,
power.
Why are you so far away? Why don't you scooch in a little bit?
Oh my goodness, you're right.
Look at this guy.
Sorry.
He's falling off the screen.
I'm sorry. Hey, it's a social distancing. Don't want to get you too close to me. You know, you
have
never
to be
know.
6 feet away.
You know. Well, that's clearly going to be outside of our parameters. So I think, hey, we're doing this for you guys, okay? For the video's sake, we're putting our lives at risk.
We are. So, you guys, we're going to be continuing here with the next couple episodes on Marvel.
Finishing up the first phase.
Yep, and if you guys don't know or just tuning in, one of the things that we're going to be doing here with these phases is we're going to be kind of talking about the Marvel Cinematic Universe, because it just so happens that we're coming up to almost a year since Endgame came out, and since we'll be coming up to a year, we want to just go back, rewatch the movies, give you our takes on it, especially, hindsight is 2020 in that regard. So we're super excited about doing that.
I mean, it's been a great journey. I definitely have grown a lot in the past 10 years, and to see just how far Marvel has come too, how they integrated all of the A-listers, B-listers, C-listers, superheroes together into a phenomenal universe that is unmatched with any other movie production company so far. I'd say, it's high time that we give them the praise. I mean, of course, we've been praising them for 10 years, but looking back now, since it's been a decade, it's cool to always revisit it, because, not gonna lie, I'm really enjoying rewatching some of the Marvel movies, because it's been a while since both of us have seen these. So it's really cool to go back and say, "Whoa, I forgot how good this movie is," or "Yes, that scene." So
yeah, there's a lot of things that when I watch it again, I'm very much like, "Holy cow, I totally forgot about this," and it's that amazing again. Even though I've seen this movie and it's been a while, but still, it's like I've already seen this movie. Why is it still so amazing? So in case you guys don't know, we're going to be going. This year, Marvel's going to be kind of an overarching theme for us. We're not going to be going 22 episodes through all the movies, or 23 episodes.
Consecutively, that'd just be too much.
No. So what we're going to do is we're going to go phase by phase. So we'll do one phase. We're going to do some other Disney stuff, another phase, other Disney stuff, another phase. So you're going to get some other things thrown in there. So it's for some people who don't like Marvel, we are going to be talking about other Disney things.
Yes.
So don't feel like you can't be a part of it.
But we're keeping it a secret because we want you guys to follow us to make sure that you're up on all the hip My Disney Addiction notifications and posts, because this is going to be a wild and crazy year. I'm so excited. We both are.
There's going to be a lot of things coming down that pipeline. So, or should I say Rainbow Bridge.
Oh, the Bifrost.
The Bifrost. So, Greg.
Chris.
Before we get into it,
yes,
I really want to hit on the idea that, like, what I really liked about this is the fact that we went from something that was very much here on Earth, here's where we are, here's what
we're used to.
Yeah, and then we kind of just get skyrocketed into a completely different world. Never seen this kind of stuff before.
Yeah, and so no easy transition, because boom, you're in a different world, different universe.
It's crazy. So I'm really excited about this. Is where, to me, Marvel really starts taking off, and the idea of the epicness starts coming in. Once you introduce Thor, it's like we have stepped up.
Yep, creating new worlds. Again, it's that fantastical element that I think seems to just bring everybody in because it's so something different that we've never really seen before. It's not of this earth and
Not of this world.
yeah,
What?
literally.
So, all right, Greg. So why don't we go ahead and
Yeah.
get into it? But before we do, Greg, do you happen to have a list of the people and the names and everything like that?
I happen to. So the cast is, of course, you have Chris Hemsworth as Thor himself, the God of Thunder. You have his mischievous brother Loki, played by Tom Hiddleston.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and when I rewatched Thor, I gotta say, I love me some Loki. I mean, he plays that part so well.
We're gonna get into it.
I know. I'm sorry. I'm just getting too excited.
Okay.
You have Jane Foster, who's played by Natalie Portman, aka in my eyes, she'll always be Padme Amidala.
Yep.
You have Heimdall, the gatekeeper of Asgard. He's played by Idris Elba. And you have other great star-studded casts here. You have Anthony Hopkins. I think he's a Sir. Was he knighted?
I think so.
I think he's Sir Anthony
I
Hopkins.
think so.
And he plays the All-Father, Odin.
Yep.
Yep.
Odin.
Yep.
That's right.
The mono-eyed Odin.
Asgardian king.
Yes. Then you have Professor Eric. I forget.
Eric Selva.
Yes, as Skarsgård, one of the Skarsgårds here, Stellan Skarsgård to be more specific.
Yep.
And keep scrolling down here. You have Renee Russo as the Allfather's wife and Thor's mother as Frigga. And then, of course, do not forget about Sif and the Warriors 3. I thought they were a great cast of supporting characters here. We have Jamie Alexander as Sif. Now, I first was acquainted with her.
Put that down here so I can.
Sorry,
so
yes.
We can both see
of
here.
course,
Okay.
I'm sorry. I'm so selfish. So you have Sif, Jamie Alexander.
Yep.
Now, I first saw her in Kyle XY. I don't know if you have
never
ever
even
seen
heard
that.
of the show. What
so
is?
It's an ABC Family show. I'm sure maybe you've heard of it, where it's this kid who likes a bathtub a lot. He does not have a belly button, so they don't know where he's from. Like he's not really like he didn't come from a mother, so it's like trying to find where he's from because he has amnesia when he wakes up naked alone in a forest. Very, very good show, but in the later seasons they bring on a girl who's sort of like this Kyle XY mysterious kid, and Jamie Alexander plays her. So that was my first introduction with her, but I gotta say she does a phenomenal job in this movie.
Okay.
So going to the Warriors 3, we have Josh Dallas as Fandral.
Do you know what else he is in?
Oh, he looks so familiar. I never forget a face. You're going to have to help me out here, Chris.
He is from the TV show Once Upon a Time. He is Charming. Prince Charming.
Oh, okay. I actually haven't seen that show.
I've actually seen the show. I really liked it.
Is it good? Okay, because it's on my list. I have a lot of...
It does get convoluted sometimes.
How many seasons? Like 8 or 9 already? It's still going on?
No.
Okay,
Not that many. I forgot how many seasons, but
it's it's several to be classified as successful there. Another Warriors 3, you have Ray Stevenson as Volstagg, and let's not forget.
there was one more.
Yeah, where's the other one? Maybe the billing is off. Oh wow.
I have no idea.
Well, that third Warriors of the 3 got bumped down. Oh my gosh, hold on. I will find this guy.
So while Greg finds that,
Gotta show the love. Of course, you have Clark Gregg as Coulson. Agent Coulson's back and in charge, throwing
Agent
around
Coulson.
those
the man, the myth, the legend.
fan favorite of the ages.
Don't have it. Can't find it.
Here. His name is Tadanobu Asano as Hogan.
Okay.
Yes, sorry about that. It took a while, but we found him.
What's the other girl's name? She was like in that waitress show.
Oh yeah, Kat Dennings.
Dennings.
2 broke girls.
2 broke girls.
Yes,
That's
yes.
it.
She's the one that coined the phrase Mew Mew.
What?
Mew Mew.
Never heard of that phrase.
Mjolnir, she calls it Mew Mew.
Mew Mew?
Yeah, Mew Mew.
Oh, yeah, I had no
She
idea.
didn't really understand what the heck they were talking about.
As we continue here, Greg, so there's a lot to be said about this movie. I mean, this is is one of those epic movies. So let's see here. You just watched this recently.
I did. Literally, it's fresh in my mind.
So why don't you go ahead? Because I'm pretty sure I have all the details remembered. But why don't you, because I've been doing a lot of the recaps.
Yeah.
So why don't you go and walk us through the entire movie?
Oh, wow. Okay.
And we'll kind of jump on each individual scene.
Here we go. Yeah. So
How does it start off?
it starts off on Earth.
On Earth.
On Earth. That's right.
This isn't Asgard.
Not yet. So it starts off on Earth. You get to see these three people in a desert. You have Jane Foster, the doctor.
Eric Selva.
There is, yes, his name. And then you have Darcy, who's played by Kat Dennings, the assistant. And all of a sudden, they're on this late night trip to try to, get some data for their research. And then all of a sudden, there's this big storm that kicks up, and they drive into it. Things get crazy. Then all of a sudden, they run into this person that was just in the middle of the storm. And so...
Like, literally, they run into him with their vehicle.
Crack the windshield kind of, deal. And so they stop the car, run out, and you find out that it's this behemoth of a man.
Yeah.
It's
funny that because Darcy comes out and she's like, does he need mouth to mouth?
Because I definitely know that.
Yeah.
Yeah. But, it turns out to be Thor. And it's really cool how they started off that way, because then it's like, a little bit of a flashback. You go then straight to Asgard. Mm-hmm. You see this royal, decadent, just glorious looking city that's definitely otherworldly, because they're on the shore of this one sea that then gets it waterfalls off into eternity or into space.
Yep.
So you know that we're not on Earth.
Yep.
And that's when you meet Odin, and he's talking to his kids at the time, young Thor, young Loki, about the powers of the throne, things like that. Is that correct? It looks like you're looking a little bit different. Am I missing something? Because, again, I just watched it, so I might be a little off.
I think.
Right? Because it goes back.
Yes, yeah, you're right.
Okay, good. Because your look definitely made me okay, I just watched this.
Yeah, no, you're right.
Yeah, so
I had to think about it for a second. I was like, wait a minute, what?
Yeah, so he's sort of explaining young Thor to young Thor and young Loki about the powers of the crown and just being king, and how both of them do want to have the throne. And then Odin's like, well, only one of you can rule, but both of you are destined to be kings or rulers.
Yeah.
And then that's when it quickly just fast forwards to the coronation of Thor.
Yep.
So they're in the throne room. Odin has a scepter.
I mean, it looks pretty epic. It looks insane.
Awesome. Everybody's in attendance. Thor's coming down. He's walking up to the throne,
and he is the most humble person. When
oh
he does
my!
That. Yeah.
I'd say, just arrogant. It's just seeping out of him.
He's got
he's flipping Mjolnir. He's catching it. He's winking and pointing at everyone.
He's getting the crowd riled up. He's like, "Yeah, right. I'm here. What's up?
Here we go."
And then
next Asgardian king.
And you can see as he's walking up, his dad is standing up there. His dad's not impressed.
No,
at all.
No. And then of course, you have Frigga, his mother, off to the side, and she's like, that's my son, but she's sort of riding that line between, it's okay, he should have more respect. This is more of a ceremony that will go down in the annals of history. So
yeah, that didn't go too well.
Again, I think that was one of the beginnings of this little strain that we will see develop and further break, that Thor is at this point not ready to be king.
Oh yeah.
And so he gets there, and then that's when he calms down. He kneels. And then,
can we just stop for a second? When he kneels, this is only in this movie, but they bleach his eyebrows.
Oh,
his
I know.
Eyebrows
are blonde. I know.
They're blonde.
I know. It looks so odd. I know. Oh, maybe that's just godly.
No, they went a little too far with that one.
They did.
I think. I was like,
I know.
I don't think you needed to do that.
And it doesn't age well. I don't think people have gotten over that or decided to like it.
No, it definitely doesn't look good. It looks really weird.
Yeah, I know. So that was the one misstep in an otherwise almost perfect movie. But anyway, so Odin is getting ready to bequeath. I like that word, bequeath.
Queeth be.
Oh, doing pig Latin now?
Yes. Queeth be yours.
Queeth be yours. So he's about to bequeath Thor. Ooh, look at that tongue twister. The throne and like the title of king. And then as he's giving this speech, preparing to hand off his title to Thor, you see like this room that has this very rectangular glowy object. It's very ominous, and you have the guards that are walking down, making sure that everything is all checked, tucked in, all safe. And then you have an ambush from a couple of frost giants.
Yep.
They come in, they kill the guards, they're about to take this rectangular, shiny blue thing, and then all of a sudden you have the destroyer, who is epic, by the way. He comes out of this like this white light room, and then he opens up his face into a living furnace, essentially, and just smites those frost giants where they stand. Not a chance. And that was when Odin gets tipped off. Like
No, Odin got tipped. He
before.
sensed it before, because then he hit his staff, and that's
which
what
then
really
brought out the destroyer. Right. So again, I got ahead of myself. So literally like the word before Odin was about to give Thor the throne, he stops. He's like, something's up, something's afoot, and that's when he does the hammer. Then the destroyer comes out. He comes, he sees, and then Thor and Loki follow Odin into the chamber that houses it.
The treasury.
Yes, the treasury. And when I watched that, it was the coolest picture, like how they frame the shot. So you have Odin, who's like overlooking the frost giants' previous, I think, source of power. So he's in the middle, and then you have Thor off to the left.
No,
and then,
right.
Well, yeah. I guess if you're watching it, like Thor's off to the left.
No. Well, yes, to the left. Like, on a TV, it's on the left.
Right. But
he's
Odin's
on,
side.
He's on Odin's right.
Yeah, he's on Odin's right, and then Loki's on Odin's left. And Loki's like, his back is to Thor, and then Thor is, he's sort of facing forward. And like, I just paused it there. I'm like, that is a phenomenal shot. Like, that's so cool how you can see like the divide already. Because like you could tell Loki could potentially be hiding something, and Thor is getting riled up because this was a breach of the treason. And then you can tell that Thor is getting more and more aggravated, and he's getting a little bit more hot-headed, saying, "Hey, this is a breach. This is an act of war. We need to go to Jotunheim." And teach these frost giants a lesson. And Odin, the Allfather, being very experienced and level-headed, he's like, it was the actions of but a few. So he was saying that maybe it wasn't. It was maybe a rogue group or something like that. So he was still trying to think things out, being very logical. But Thor, no. Thor is like, I will not stand this. They breached Asgard. We need to essentially just break their spirits down so this will never happen again. And then Loki, of course, he's quiet off to the side, but they leave.
Well, the best part of that is when Thor, he says to Odin, he's like, as the king of, and then Odin immediately like, but you're not the king.
But you're not king. Not yet.
Yeah, he was very much like, whoa, watch your steps, son. Watch your step.
I know. Can I just say how well they casted this movie?
It was great. It was some of the best casting.
I know. Anthony Hopkins was meant to be Odin. It was great. But anyway, so they leave the chamber, and then the next scene, you see Thor flip this huge table with all of it was fully set. You have some fruit. You have food on it, but you can tell that he's a little bit angry. Needs to burn off some steam. So he sits down, and then Loki comes out of the shadows, and that's one of the first times I really saw that dichotomy. Like the good and the bad potentially. And it reminded me of Mufasa and Scar. How Scar was that slinky little devil who had a very silver tongue. He knew how to manipulate and lie. But anyway, Loki comes in and he sits down. He's like, if it's any consolation, I completely agree with you. It was, out of line with what the Frost Giants did, and we should definitely go, or he was sort of steering Thor in that direction. And as he kept on saying that, it's like Thor had an idea. He's like, no, I know that look. And then he's like, we're going to Jotunheim. And
it was definitely like, we knew Thor was going to do it.
He planted the seed, but Loki was the one that like urged it.
Yep.
And then, it took short time for him to convince Sif and the Warriors 3 to tag along.
Yep.
And so, without further ado, and then of course that's when you meet Heimdall when they're about to go through. But they get to Jotunheim. They go up to Laufey, who is the ruler of the Frost Giants, and that's when Loki sort of steps in and he starts to de-escalate the situation. Mm-hmm. To a point where even Thor was about to leave with everyone else. He's like, it was a reckless action. But then what turned the tables was Laufey. Of course, he had to say, he's like, run back home.
No, it wasn't Laufey. It was one of the other Frost Giants.
I thought it was Laufey.
No, it was a different Frost Giant.
Really?
Yeah, because some
was it?
Yeah, so a few different Frost Giants were like, kind of like walking right behind him.
Really?
And then when Thor turns around, one of the giants say that.
Really?
Yeah, it was not. It was not
swear.
him.
I mean, I just watched. I swear it was Laufey.
No, it was not him.
Because I don't think I think only Laufey is the only Frost Giant that speaks. Okay, but I will defer to you on this, just because again, I just watched it, but I could be mistaken. It's one of the blue guys.
Yeah.
Okay, one of the blue guys.
One of the Frost Giants do this.
Yes, run back home, little princess.
Yeah.
And then that's when Loki, he's like, oh. And then Thor comes around and just smashes his hammer across the blue guy that said it. Yeah. Can neither confirm nor deny that it was Laufey or a different one. But he goes flying back, and that's when just all HE double hockey sticks break.
When everything kind of falls apart.
Yep.
So essentially what happens is, big fight, ensues. They're blah, blah, blah. They're kind of on the edge of this cliff, Thor and, the rest of his comrades. And they're about to fight. They're about to keep going. And then all of a sudden, like,
big light, just a shaft of light comes down. And then you see
Odin with his staff on a horse. Just like epic.
Just kicking back. Oh, it was great.
It was epic. And, so essentially the Frost Giant, what's his name?
Laufey.
Yeah, he kind of raises up and is talking to Odin.
Yep.
And he's like, hey, your son came in here. I gave him a chance to leave.
Yep.
And he antagonized. So it's like, this is an act of war now.
Yep. And then, Odin was like, these are the actions of the boy. Treat him as such. But he's like, no, the damage has already been done, Odin.
Yep.
If you want war, you're going to get it. And then Odin's like, then so be it. And then he takes Thor and his pals with him back to Asgard, where quite a brawl ensues, more verbally than anything. It's not a physical brawl, but that's when they come, butting heads. And
essentially what happens is Thor calls his dad a foolish old man, and that's when Odin was done.
Yep. And it was a really cool, how the mighty have fallen, because he's about to be proclaimed king.
Yep.
To now, Odin came up to him and he took off his markings of Thor, or of nobility. He's like, you are not fit to wear this. You're not fit to hold Mjolnir. And then so he banishes Thor, and Thor just gets sucked into the Bifrost or whatever.
And then he does say something, which we'll have to bring this up when we get to Endgame,
Ooh.
which is going to take a while. But he does say something, essentially like puts an enchantment over Mjolnir.
Yes. Yeah, he brings it up to his mouth. He's like, whosoever be worthy may possess the power of Thor. Or something like this.
Something like that.
And he throws it back into the Bifrost.
Yeah. Neither of them knew where it was going.
No.
Just so happened it landed on Earth, the same where Thor is. So
what a coincidence!
Thor falls, and while he's falling, he eventually is like lands on Earth, and then BAM! That's when we get to the point where he got hit.
Yeah, so then we're back to the quote-unquote beginning of the movie, they take him in to a hospital, and that's when Thor is still like, "Unhand me! How dare you! You know,
Yeah.
like put your hands on the mighty Thor." And then he has a rumble, stumble, and a fumble with a couple of doctors, and then all
And
of
then
a
I
sudden
think they twink.
they twink him, Elmer Fudd.
They tranquilize him like in the butt.
Yes, he's like, "No one can stop the power mightiful," and then they stick it in, and he hits his head on the door, and he like squeaks down.
I will say Thor movies have some of the best comedy.
It's great. I know. Like that one just got me to. It never fails to make me laugh.
Right?
No matter how many times I've seen it, no matter when I know it's coming up, it still gets me.
There's so many good humorous parts in this movie. So
Yes.
Thor eventually wakes up. Essentially,
Has a little time in the sun with his shirt off. Of course, you gotta make the ladies happy.
yeah,
You know.
we'll get to that in a second. But so Jane, Dr. Selvig, and
Darcy.
Darcy.
It's okay. You can help me with Selvig. I'll help you with Darcy.
Yeah. So they bring him back, and they're talking to him, and like, hey, you got to take us to this place. You know some things about this. They think he's a little bit crazy and stuff like that.
Yes.
So while that's happening, Mjolnir has landed somewhere else, and
But nearby.
funny thing, it creates a crevice. And if you watched Iron Man 2, Agent Coulson is telling Iron Man, hey, I got to go to New Mexico. Something happened. I got just immediately put out there. And in Thor, we know why he got there. Because all of a sudden Mjolnir landed there.
It's connected. It's a connected universe.
Yeah, so he goes there. And it's kind of funny because you see all these people trying to lift up Mjolnir. They put a truck with a chain to it, and it literally rips the bed off of the frame of the truck.
And who's driving the truck?
Stan Lee, sir.
Dan Lee himself. Did it work?
Yeah,
no,
right?
No, it didn't, Stan. Did not work.
Did not work. But rest in peace, sir.
Yes.
But so that's happening. People are trying to get this figured out. Agent Coulson shows up. He's like, hey, I'm here. It's there. We're good to go. They set up this like essentially perimeter around this
Cordons it off.
foreign thing. They're like, where did this come from? We have no idea. Nobody can move it.
Pretty cool little maze too. Like I was like, that'd be cool to walk through.
It's kind of like one of those rat ones, like those tubes.
It is, yeah, exactly.
For hamsters and
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah. Except just life size.
Yeah, it's kind of like is it saying we're hamsters?
You know, I think that is quite the existentialist question, and I'd say yes.
I think you meant existential question.
What did I say?
You said
Existential?
no. You said accents. You said something weird.
Are you sure?
Yeah, you didn't say existential.
Fine. I meant to say existential. There.
So, that's going on, and then Thor and them are like in a coffee shop, and he's drinking the coffee. He's like, "Oh, this is so good."
I like it.
And then he's another, and then he smashes it on the ground. So it was funny scenes like that. So it's like Thor's like very noble, like I speak proper, but I'm very much a brute.
Yeah, ruffian.
Those two things, like I'm nobility, I'm a brute, hand in hand equals Thor. And then you put him into our world, none of those things are that normal.
I know. For me, I always like those kind of movies where you bring in just even like two like people with different backgrounds or from different places to see that culture shock or to see how they can get together. And I definitely felt it in this movie. It's the Asgardian prince with the mortals of Earth, like just to see that interaction and what he views as normal, like, oh, it should be normal everywhere, but he just comes off as like weird. It's like, okay, I think you bonked your head too many times, you might be a little out of it. So it's again a really cool thing they played off of that in that movie.
So he hears some people in the diner overtalk this hammer that's there. He asks where it's at, goes there, and in the middle of a rainstorm, he's fighting off bad guys. He's like kicking butt, taking names.
Yep.
And then he finally gets to Mjolnir, and
The reveal.
he goes to lift it up, and the most epic things happens here. He can't do it.
Yes.
Nope, not happening.
He strains, he struggles, not a budge.
You are not worthy, sir.
No, and then that's when like he yells to the heavens.
He cannot do it.
And there's so much pain in that performance. It's so well done.
It's one of those, like, you can tell, like, he's like, he got exiled, and now the thing that kind of shows him that he is who he still is.
Yeah.
He's like, nope, you're not him
He
anymore.
hit rock bottom, and for him to
Funny you said that because it landed in a rock.
oh, here we go. Those unintentional puns are the best. And then after he is like processing that he can't lift up Mjolnir. That's when he gives up. He allows them to cuff
Take him.
him and take him away. And again, such a good story, just movie in general, because you get to see how he was on top of the world. Now he's hit rock bottom, and that's when I believe you can truly understand the measure of a woman or a man is how they can pick themselves up and rise again. And this movie does a great job showing it later on.
Yeah.
But anyway, he's detained by Agent Coulson and S.H.I.E.L.D. Coulson's trying to egg some type of information out of him. But then that's when he leaves the little interrogation chamber, Loki comes in, thank you. And he's wearing, nice prim proper like trench coat with like a tie, he sort of chose it since he was going to Earth. But that's when he spun a web, a web full of lies to Thor, saying that
He is the god of mischief.
that he is. But he literally said that Odin's dead. His mother forbade him to come back, and Loki is not going to bring him back.
Well, yeah, so Loki said, I am assuming the mantle of king.
Yep.
I can't let you back. You broke, the treaty. And for me to keep peace, you have to remain exiled.
You have to remain exiled, yep. And Thor just he took it like a hammer to the chest.
He gets it. He's like, I realize it. I messed that up.
Yeah.
I really did screw this.
Yeah, like a light bulb just lifted, and yeah.
It was one of those moments of realization that happened.
Yeah.
And so Dr. Selvig and what's her name?
Jane and Darcy.
Yeah, they're trying to figure out how can we get a hold of him because he obviously knows something about this stuff.
Yeah, but Selvig initially doesn't want anything to do with him. He's like, this guy's dangerous, Jane. Yeah. I don't see why you want to help him, or So Jane convinces him to help him out, and that's how they eventually get him from the S.H.I.E.L.D. holding facility. It's like, he's a doctor friend of mine. He's a little bit of a health nut. He was trying to explain how Thor could take down some of Agent Coulson's most highly trained men.
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, he's really into fitness.
Yeah, it's all. He's like, I don't know, buff and can fight like an expert warrior.
Yeah, exactly. Come on, that's just normal.
What other astrophysicist that's obsessed with health is like that? That's pretty much standard if you want to be in that field.
Yeah, seriously, that's a prerequisite. Yeah. Let's go.
I mean, when I think astrophysicists like Neil deGrasse Tyson, I definitely think of Thor. Those two things go together.
Oh yeah, undoubtedly, indubitably.
Yeah, that's all I can think about. Yes. And then, so they get him out, and then they get him back. And then him and Thor and Dr. Selvig have this moment of talking and kind of getting to know each other at a bar.
A little bit of bonding, yeah.
Yeah. And it turns into a little bit of I'm more manly than you, because then they get these big
steins of beer.
Things of beer, right?
Steins of beer.
Steins, and they're just going at it, and they're seeing who can keep going without stopping.
Yep.
And then the next thing we know, he shows up at the trailer. Jane?
Yes, Jane. Carrying Selvig on his shoulders,
he's like, oh, he did his ancestors proud.
Oh, yes,
he drank deeply, and he conquered many foes.
We drank, we fought, and he made his ancestors proud.
Yeah, it was good. And then so Jane and Thor go out. They have a bonfire because, when you want to talk to somebody that you just met, ran over, and he's kind of like a brute that kills everybody and destroys coffee shops, that's generally what I do.
Yeah, definitely introduce fire to the equation. I think that's a safe bet.
Yeah, isn't that what you do when you meet people that are kind of like that?
Oh yeah, it's go-to. It's textbook.
Yeah, if you're normal, then that's not what I do.
No, come on.
But if you're like Thor, then bonfire is the way to go.
Bonfires, yes.
And so they're getting back and forth, and they have this discussion about, the journal that Jane has been trying to figure out some of the information about. And Thor kind of enlightens her in a weird way. It's like, what you guys called magic, we kind of call science.
Or he was saying, what you called magic before and what you learned to be science, it's actually one and the same where I come from.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then he explains, all the different, branches of this universal tree, how Earth is called Midgard, you have Jotunheim, Asgard, all the other, like, how they're all connected and where he's coming from.
Yep. And so she's kind of like, you're nuts, but like for some reason I believe you.
Because you're hot.
Yeah.
I think that was a main factor.
We'll get to that in a second. So that happens. And then, Gray, if you want to continue forward here.
Yeah, so after that, there's still a lot of things going on Asgard, like Loki. Oh my gosh, Loki. Loki. 5 times. Yeah. I should be good.
He was very low key with his takeover.
Oh, I like that. There we go. Chris with the, what was that? A pun?
Pun.
Yeah, another pun. So Loki is sort of, you know, he's sitting high on the throne, like he has it now because, you know, Odin went into the Odin sleep, and he's literally playing people like a big chess game, and everybody's moving to where he wants them to move. He's like the puppet master. Everything is going so well for him, and forgive me if I'm skipping anything, but, you know, with him being like the interim king, he then goes to Jotunheim.
Yep.
And he goes up to Laufey. So Loki goes to Laufey, and he proposes a little bit of a secretive deal here, where he's saying that
I will bring... That's how you finish the sentence.
well, what were you thinking I was going to finish it with?
You said Loki goes to Laufey and proposes, and then you finish the sentence.
Gets down on one knee, says, "Will you rule the galaxy with me?" No. So he goes to Laufey, and Loki says, I will bring you and, you know, 4 others through where you, and then I will, you know, let you know where Odin is resting, and you can strike him down, kill him. And then Laufey's like, well, why don't you do it? He's like, well, I don't think the Asgardian people will react kindly to the king killing off his predecessor. So he was sort of saying, you know, he's preying on Laufey's you know, hurt of what happened to him all those years ago, with how Odin sort of put him in his place, took the power. He's like, I will give you back your power, you know, let bygones be bygones. And so that was when he started it, because Laufey accepted that proposal without a ring, which I found very, very just not classy. I mean, Loki should have brought a ring as well. Big old diamond, big old rock.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm still going on off of the wedding proposal thing that you started off with. I was
going too far.
I figured.
Move on, Greg.
All right, and then back on Earth, you have Thor. He is sort of relinquishing to his current situation. He's enjoying it, you know. Mm-hmm. He's having a ball with Jane. Like, they made breakfast, you know. So they're still trying to figure out what's going.
After meeting a guy like that and all the crap he gets into, and you have a bonfire, you find out magic and science are the same thing, and there's multiple universes.
Let's cook some eggs.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of what I do.
Right?
I mean, I feel like this movie is pretty much explaining my life.
I'd say so, yeah.
I mean, granted, different names, different people.
And plus your beard is just as thick and full as Thor's. Not bleached, thank God. That would look really weird on you.
Comments below if you want me to do that.
Yes, please do. If we get 150 likes on this video, Chris might.
If you make it, if there are 1 million views on this video,
oh man,
I will bleach my beard.
Look at this, you have it recorded.
I will bleach my beard if I get 1 million views of this video.
Come on, guys, let's make it happen. 1 million views. But anyway,
that's not gonna happen. We've only got like 50 on the last video.
Yes, right.
Could you imagine if like everybody's like,
you know what,
1 million views and all the comments are bleach, 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 bleach.
And then Chris will become like the mainstay on Entertainment Tonight, like over Kardashian. Says, yes, Chris Weltson of the Disney Addiction Podcast dyes his beard bleach blonde.
And then that becomes the new fad.
Yes. Yeah.
So instead of like there were glitter beards back in the day, and now it's going to be bleach beards.
Bleach beards. Yes. We're about to we're on the cusp of a new trend. 2020 is going to thank us so well.
Mm-hmm. Because they're going to need something to laugh at after this
yes.
virus.
Oof. Yes, the corona.
Yes. We have some coronas in the fridge.
We actually do. Maybe we should pop it open, celebrate.
Yeah. All right, let's continue.
Anyway, yes. Yes, back on track. So, yeah, breakfast at the Foster and the Thor residence. They're enjoying that.
Are they together now?
They might as well be. Come on. They're in love. They're in deep like. They're smitten with each other. They're afflicted with the love.
Okay.
Yes, that does sound painful. Love is not painful.
Yeah, it can be.
Okay, yeah, true. Valid point.
This is turning into a relationship advice.
We're getting
podcast.
deep here. Yeah, a huge side tangent, but we're trying to steer back on. And then that's when the Sif and the Warriors 3 come knock on the door. And that's when, Dr. Selvig, Darcy, and Jane are just like slack-jawed. They're like, oh my god, I think he's actually telling the truth. He is the god of thunder. He is Thor.
No, they didn't think that. Yeah, they were just like, what just happened?
True.
What are these nutso doing here?
Right, it's like,
Comic-Con hasn't happened yet.
right, yeah, like when they were walking down the street of that one, I think, New Mexico town, you have two, like, SHIELD agents up on the roof. He's like, whoa, what do we got here? I didn't realize a Renaissance fair was in the works. Call it in. He's like, hey, Command, we got a Xena, a Jackie Chan, and a Robin Hood. And I love that. I love that. That was a great joke.
Well, I thought it was what was the elf's name? No, the troll's name from Lord of the Rings.
I haven't seen them.
Gimli.
Okay. No, they did not say that.
Oh, Gimli.
Yeah,
Okay.
it was.
You've never seen Lord of the Rings?
Okay, I saw.
It's a yes or no question.
I saw the first one, but I fell asleep. It was late at night.
So
It's a long movie. Come on, it's over 3 hours, right? Each one of them.
I don't think
Right?
it's over 3 hours. Not each one.
What was the long one? It's very.
I think
long
Return
movie.
of the King was like 3
It's
hours.
very long movies.
Oh, yeah.
Anyways, but yeah. So Xena, Jackie Chan, and Robin Hood. One of my favorite quotes from that movie. But anyway, they meet up with Thor. They're like, we're here to bring you home, old fellow. He's like, well, what are you talking about? Like, I've been exiled. My father's dead because of me. And that's when Sif is like, no, your father's still alive. And that's when Thor's like, oh, sugar honey iced tea. Loki he pulled the wool over my eyes.
He'd be lying like a dog lies on a rug.
What he said. Never heard that before, but what he said.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully that means the same thing as what I'm talking about.
Lying hard, sir.
Ooh.
Like that's
How hard?
Like a dog on a rug. It's like one of them. Like that dog is not moving. That's like
Oh,
a full.
I see.
All four legs is down.
Oh man.
Like
Okay.
it is like
It
four
ain't
legs
moving.
down, face is on the ground, tail's like not wagging. It's like done. Lights out.
All right.
That's a straight up lie, sir.
Yes.
You lie like dog on rug.
Oh, there you go. That was a good accent.
Okay.
Like the rolling of the R. So, and just as that's happening, Loki. I said it right this time.
You did.
Holla. That's right. To your boy, Disney Detective.
Jeez.
I derived so much pleasure from that. Too much.
Yeah, you celebrated too soon.
I did. Okay. So anyway, let's see. Loki sends. Oh yes, because Loki saw that Sif and the Warriors 3 used the Bifrost.
Mm-hmm.
So he goes and he tells the Destroyer, it's like, go to Earth, see to it that Thor is destroyed, and just destroy everything. So when after their little reunion, they see another swirly cloud or an Einstein-Rosen bridge or whatever come down. The hammer. Not the hammer. The Destroyer comes in, and that's when Coulson, because at that time he was lucky enough to be in that area with S.H.I.E.L.D. And another great quote comes. So one of the S.H.I.E.L.D. operatives says to Coulson, he's like, "Is that one of Stark's tech?" Because like Tony Stark. Yeah. He's like, it was metal. He's like, I don't know. That guy doesn't tell me anything. So he walks up with a speaker. Like a bullhorn, is like, okay, and then that's when the furnace face opens up and just blasts them to oblivion, and Thor and the Warriors come to meet up with this destroyer and try to take it down, and a huge battle ensues. Mm-hmm. Really cool, and the town just gets demolished. Like the 7-Eleven gas station, bye, coffee shops, little convenience stores. Everything is just a shambles.
Yep.
But it gets to a point then when Thor, he just walks up to the Destroyer, talking to Loki because Loki can hear him.
It's Loki.
What did I say? Loki?
You said Loki twice.
Oh my gosh, Loki! This is going to be an epidemic here.
Oh, too soon.
Yeah, sorry about that. Anyway, Loki can hear Thor. He's like, brother, I don't know what I've done in the past to make you act this way or feel this way. I'm truly sorry. Please take my life and just let that be the end of it.
Yeah, leave these people alone. Yep.
Yep. And so Loki turns off Furnace Face, makes him walk, but after taking 2 steps, he does a sissy move. He just does a backhand right to Thor, cracks him over the skull. Thor goes flying. Jane goes over, and Thor's like, "It's over." So he dies. And then Odin
doesn't die.
I thought he dies, because then Odin, in the Odin sleep, like, he sheds a tear, but then his sacrifice, because he did die. He died. That's when he's worthy again of the hammer. And so all of a sudden, like a ding, and then the hammer comes shooting out. So the hammer
can bring you back to life? Thor can die.
Thor died.
But did he die?
He just didn't take a nap.
Or he was to the point of dying.
No, he died. In my eyes, he died. Like, he's gone.
I don't know if he actually
died. Because how else would he then be worthy of the hammer and of
because he sacrificed himself. It's not the fact
See?
that but it's
when
not
you sacrifice yourself, that means you
die. It's not the fact that he had to die.
Yes, it had to be.
It's the act of sacrificing yourself. If you don't die in the process of
then you don't sacrifice yourself. You're just like,
yes, you do.
No, you failed at sacrificing yourself. Therefore, you're not worthy.
No, yes. No.
When you sacrifice yourself, you die.
Stop. Okay, listen.
Listen, Linda.
Shut up, Karen. Yeah. I still don't get what that means.
Me neither, but it's so funny.
I don't know. Apparently, Karen is some middle-aged woman that tells people what to do. That's what my wife told me that it means. I don't know. So, listen. It's the fact that he was willing to sacrifice himself.
That doesn't cut it.
It does cut it.
No, he did. He did when he was talking to Furnace Face, okay? Why didn't Mjolnir then come flying into his hands at that time? Like, okay, you want to die.
No, okay, listen.
You're still alive. No. The only time it We're sorry.
Oh my god. Oh my gosh.
That's our first laughing attack.
I can't think right now.
I was trying to control my diaphragm.
Okay, listen. Okay. Here's an example. Did you watch Harry Potter?
Yes.
Did you watch the last movie?
No.
Oh, you didn't get it. Okay, listen. So, in the Harry Potter books, spoiler, by the way.
How dare you?
So, essentially, Voldemort has ways to keep himself alive. He splits up his soul into multiple pieces.
Horcruxes, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Well, Harry is a Horcrux that he never planned to make. So, essentially what happens is he splits himself into 6 pieces. He has to keep one, so that way he has a sense of self.
Okay.
Well, when he went to go kill Harry, his soul was so fragmented that when the killing curse rebounded back to him, it split his soul again, unintentionally, and that little piece of soul latched himself to Harry. So Harry is an unintentional Horcrux. So when he goes to sacrifice himself, he chose to die, but he didn't fully die.
Voldemort?
No, Voldemort died, but like the part of the soul, the Horcrux died, but that was in Harry.
Okay.
But Harry didn't technically die. Like, Voldemort hit him with the killing curse, which destroyed the Horcrux.
Okay.
But Harry has this like almost near-death experience in a way, and he asked Dumbledore, he's like, "Am I dead?" And Dumbledore's like, "No, I don't believe you're dead." So he didn't die, but he still sacrificed. The process of being willing to sacrifice, putting yourself out there without dying, that's my reasoning behind it. In the same sense, like, Thor could be in the process of dying without having fully died.
But he sacrificed himself as he's dying, but not dead yet.
Yeah, so like if I'm willing
if you're willing to sacrifice, that means yes, I will die for this.
Yeah, but that's like if you willingly put yourself in front of me for a bullet and the bullet didn't kill you, that doesn't mean that you weren't sacrificing yourself. You were. The effect of what should have killed you didn't actually kill you.
Yeah.
You still sacrificed. You took the brunt of what was supposed to be the death, essentially.
Yeah.
But you didn't die. That's not your fault that you didn't die. You could even be in the process of dying and somebody saved your life, and you still chose to sacrifice yourself. that doesn't make it not a sacrifice.
Right, but like again, like
I think you agree with me. You just
no. I chose to sacrifice myself by putting myself in front of that, knowing that I would die
But
if I caught the bullet. But since I didn't die from the bullet, I didn't sacrifice myself. I was a padding between the bad guy and you.
No.
I was willing to sacrifice. I did not sacrifice because I'm still alive.
So
it hurt like heck. But I'm still alive.
So unless you die, it's not a sacrifice.
Correct. To sacrifice means that you give up, like, forever.
Does it have to be forever? Because here's the problem.
Well, there is an afterlife, so yeah, like I guess.
No. So here's the thing. So like, this is turning into a huge debate right now.
It really is. But seriously though, guys, let us know who you think is right. What is your definition, or what is a true definition of sacrifice?
No. This is not a philosophical podcast.
It's
do
not.
you think Thor actually died in this movie, or do you think he was in the process of dying?
Yes, I do think he sacrificed himself because he died.
Because it's almost the same thing that happens in Infinity War when he's on. Oh my gosh, what's that star? Oh my gosh, he created Stormbreaker, right? And he took the full wrath of the star.
Yeah.
And he was dying, like he was like almost to the point of death.
Sure.
And all of a sudden, Stormbreaker started rising up, and then it came to him, and it brought him like essentially back to full health.
Okay.
So that's what the same thing I would see. Like you were in the process of dying,
like in the process of sacrificing yourself.
You sacrifice yourself, and in the process of dying, you did something to sacrifice yourself. Even though the outcome didn't fully complete, that doesn't mean you didn't do something. You gave yourself up for something. But the fact that you didn't die is not your fault.
You gave yourself up because like you believed that you were going to die. So you're like, I'm going to sacrifice. Yeah. So how do you sacrifice? You put yourself in that position. So again, it's
okay. But if you put yourself, if you stand in the way of a bullet for somebody.
Yeah.
Now, if I shoot you,
why would you shoot me?
Because
I thought we're friends.
Well, because apparently you don't understand this idea of sacrifice.
No, you don't.
Because if you put yourself in front of somebody and I shoot you, and I shoot you in the heart for some reason. Let's just say for some reason you don't die.
Okay.
But you're in the process of dying.
Yeah.
And you get rushed to a hospital, and something happens, and then let's just, for hypothetically speaking, like it's your wife for some reason.
Okay.
And at the hospital, you know, you're recovering, and she like is in tears and so happy. She's like, "You sacrificed yourself for me." Would you be like, "Nope, sorry, I just was a cushion"? You sacrificed yourself for her, but you lived. That doesn't mean you weren't a sacrifice. You did the process of sacrificing yourself. The fact that you did not die was not your fault. You did the process of giving something up. You gave up your life.
You sacrificed yourself.
Yes, but your life wasn't actually fully taken.
You were meaning to sacrifice yourself, but you are alive, so you didn't. So you
did No, you gave up your life.
You put yourself in the position to be able to sacrifice yourself.
Okay, we got to move on.
Yes, I have another analogy here, but again, we're running.
Well, far afield here.
Yes, for sure.
We're at like 53 minutes or something.
Yes, we are. That's
Holy
right.
cow.
The ticker's going. But anyway, so Thor is he's not moving. There, how about that? That could mean that he's dying, or that he could be dead. And that's when Mjolnir then comes into his grasp. He then big, just thunderous, light. And then that's when you see his armor come back to him. Yep. The epicness of it gave me chills. Yep. Like you saw everyone just like smile. Like Jane was like just amazed. You got Sif. Everyone's like, he is back, And that's when.
And you knew Jane was kind of like, he was hot before, but now he's got power.
Yes, exactly.
She was like,
Yes, I know. And then she mentioned something after he defeated the Destroyer. She's like, so is that what you usually look like? It's a good look.
She's
definitely digging that chainmail on the arms and the red cape.
She's like, you're a god, you got all this power, and you're good looking.
And you got bleached eyebrows.
Probably was the only slight turnoff.
Maybe, yeah.
Yeah.
But they're so high up,
Yeah.
She's so amazing.
He chose not to sacrifice those.
Exactly.
So after that happens, he ends up leaving to go confront his brother.
Yes, that's right. And so by that time, that was a voice bubble. My goodness.
Bubbles.
Bubbles everywhere. Bubbles in my hair. But
All
not
right.
really in my hair. A little nursery rhyme for you tonight. Anyway, so you have the frost giants with Laufey invading Asgard, going to the chamber where Odin is sleeping. He's about to strike him down. Laufey is literally above him with his ice dagger. And before he strikes, a blast hits Laufey, sends him flying. And
Doesn't he
is
disintegrate?
it Thor? Is it Thor? No, it's Loki. Because Laufey was saying, like, you know, you, like, to Odin, like, you are asleep, but you can see and feel everything. I hope you do, just so you know that you died at the hands of Laufey. And he's about to do that. After Loki strikes him off of Odin, Loki's like, and then now I want you to know that you have died on, like, by the hand of Loki.
Yeah.
Oh, no, by Odin's son. And then Laufey's laying down. He's like, what? He's like, you know, he double-crossed him. And then that's when Loki shoots him again and totally just disintegrates him. Frigga sees this. She's like, oh, Loki, you saved, Odin. And he's like, don't worry, like, I won't rest. Like, we need to, punish Jotunheim now. That's when Thor comes in.
Yeah.
And there's a good old brother-to-brother stare-off. And then Loki then, like, blast Thor out of the chamber. He's falling. And... Yes, right? So he's like incapacitated right now. Then Loki goes to the Rainbow Bridge.
Yep, they both are fighting in Heimdall's little circular arrow thing.
Yeah, it looks like an observatory. Yeah.
Kind of like observatory,
Yeah.
kind of thing. And so they're fighting. All these cool, like, lightning crystals are forming around them. So that's
Yes.
really cool.
Yes, so cool. Oh, well, actually, what Loki did was he turned on the Bifrost, like, right to Jotunheim, set it on full blast,
Yeah.
and then he froze it with the Frost Giant's power. So, and then Thor comes, is like, you won't be able to stop it, I will destroy Jotunheim. He's like, you can't destroy a race, and that's when they start to fight. At first, though, like, the fight was cool, but you could sort of see that, like, their costumes were sort of, like, inhibiting their motion. Like, their costumes look dope, like, honestly, but looks a little rigid, a little stiff, but still, I mean, a greatly shot fight scene. Yeah. And then finally, they're back on the bridge, and it's so cool. Thor puts Mjolnir on Loki's chest.
Yeah.
And Loki's like, of course he can't lift it, and Thor has no idea how to shut down the Bifrost, because it's just destroying Jotunheim. And then Thor comes at a crossroads. He's like, should I save Jotunheim, or should I keep the Bifrost open so I can see Jane? Because he promised that he would see Jane again after he left. So what he does is he gets Mjolnir, he starts hammering at the Rainbow Bridge, the Rainbow Bridge. Sorry, this isn't Mario. Super Mario 64 or Mario Kart. Yeah. My apologies. Though it's a great game. He's hammering. Then Loki gets up, and he's about to strike him from behind when Thor hits that last swing, and boom,
the whole thing,
it just collapses. Yeah, everything. And then they go flying. They're about to fall into oblivion.
Yep.
And then all of a sudden, Odin's here. He grabs onto Thor's hand, and so it's like a big long train. You have Odin holding on to Thor. Thor's holding on to Loki, or the other way around. And Loki then just he lets go, and he falls down into oblivion to his seeming death.
Yep. And Thor and Odin are both devastated.
Yes, because like the following scene, I think it's like the funeral or like the passing of Loki, and Thor and Odin have like a nice father and son moment as they are overlooking the kingdom. Again, sort of like a Lion King thing. It's like Simba and Mufasa, but this time Thor has grown so much, and so that's when Odin finally says, like, I'm already proud of you. Like, I'm not hoping that I will be proud of you. I'm proud of you based on what you did. You'll be a good king. So that's how it ends there. And I do believe then he talks about, then he goes to Heimdall.
Yep.
Yes, and he's like, and then, Heimdall says, there's always hope. Like, we will restore the rainbow bridge and the Bifrost, and then Thor asks Heimdall, it's like, can you see her? Yeah. And then they go back to Earth, and they show that Jane is still searching for Thor, or finding a way for them to meet again. So, a great way to end just a great movie.
Yep. Was there a last-minute scene somewhere in there at the end of the show?
Oh my gosh. I don't think I watched all the way. I mean, of course, I could have skipped. Of course there is.
Which one is it, though?
I don't know.
I think it has to do with... Look it up on your phone real quick. Let's see here. I think it has to do with, like, Thanos' chair.
Oh, yeah, I think... Okay, yeah, I think you're right.
I think Thor, that's what it is.
Thor end scene. So
Thor end credit scene, yeah.
Yeah, and...
So, I think with this movie, I thought it was very, very good. I loved the epicness of the movie. I thought it did really well with bringing you into the idea of, like, here's this other world that we haven't seen before. It's very epic. It's amazing. But then they did a very good connection of how do we bring that to here in this world? How can it connect to our planet? And I think the way they did the movie was amazing. It brought in the scale of, like, whoa, there is much more to this universe than we thought. Right. It's very expansive. It's very rich. But it's not clunky to get to us.
No.
It was not hard.
No.
It was very well done.
Yeah.
Did you...
Yeah, so the end scene was actually with Dr. Selvig.
Oh.
Yeah, because I think Nick Fury brought him in.
Oh, they brought the Tesseract back.
Yep, the Tesseract, that's right. So again, that's just furthering the storyline of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. So that was the end scene in Thor. But off to your point, yeah, they did a phenomenal job. Again, they casted superbly, and they really did a phenomenal job at bringing in a new superhero that was literally out of this world. Like, he's otherworldly. I really did like the journey of Thor. Yep. How he started being arrogant, like he thought he knew everything, like he was like the greatest gift known to Asgard. And then for him to fall so far down, not gracefully at all, for him to pick himself back up, realize his faults and what needed to be done, the sacrifices that need to be made. See, he sacrificed his potential relationship with Jane by actually dismantling the Bifrost and the Rainbow Bridge. He completely sacrificed.
But there are other ways to see her. There are other ways. Heimdall even said there are other ways.
To rebuild.
Oh, yeah, but there are other ways to actually travel across the universe.
True.
So
yes.
He didn't sacrifice.
He sacrificed that way.
That way. Okay.
There's going to be a constant thing. But anyway, phenomenally done. I love the journey of Thor, and just how, I mean, one of the best villains in the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Loki is one of the characters who stole the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Everybody loves Loki.
I mean, I think he was my favorite character out of the movie. How about you?
Thor is still my favorite character.
Okay.
Obviously Jane. Because, I mean, I still think of her as Princess Amidala.
Yeah, Padme, yeah.
Padme. Because when I was, a teenager, she was in the movie, and, like, every teenager my age, like, had the hots for her.
Oh, well, yeah, I mean, come on.
And, so, I mean, I thought everybody in the movie was great. It was funny. It had that sense of, like, scope that was huge, yes. But it had, like, the relationships that really brought you in. The idea of, like, Loki being, a frost giant, but he was just very small.
Oh, that was great.
And Odin taking him in as his son, like that whole dynamic there, and then the dynamic with him and his brother. It was multiple levels, but done very well, not overplayed, not too convoluted.
No.
It was just perfectly done. I think every single thing about this movie was great.
Okay.
I don't think I would give it 100%.
True.
It was very good.
Just because of the bleached eyebrows, right?
That. I also feel like the little town in New Mexico was like, because like.
Oh, I know where this is going.
Because in the next movie, essentially something happens, and one of the lines is Nick Fury's like, "Hey, because of you," that's not the exact line. The exact line kind of gives away some other stuff about the next movie. But Nick Fury's kind of like, "Hey, these guys came and they leveled a whole town." was like a little tiny offside road town. It wasn't
it was
really
literally
like, a
like maybe 5 buildings, and I see maybe 10 cars.
it was maybe
there.
10 square blocks.
Yeah.
It was not a big town.
No.
So when
Clearly created for the movie.
yeah, so when they said it was a town, it was like, yeah, sure.
guess.
It's like one of those unincorporated places.
Yeah.
So it's not something where I was like, oh my God, you leveled Manhattan or you leveled, L.A. It was like you leveled middle of freaking nowhere. Hey, there's 10 buildings there in New Mexico.
Yep.
So it wasn't like something epic
No.
in that sense. So I mean, that was kind of like, I feel like there could have been a little bit more stakes with the human being aspect side of it.
True. Yeah, I agree.
So on that side, I didn't feel like there was that much, like, when Thor's like, don't hurt these people. I'm like, what, all 50 of them?
Yeah.
So it's like,
and did you see how fast they cleared out the town when, like, as the destroyer was walking to the town? Like, yeah, you saw a couple of scenes, like people getting into cars or running away, but before you knew it, it was completely desolate. It's like, yeah, there weren't a lot of people.
There's not a lot of people there. So like, I thought that was kind of like so overall, I thought it was a great movie.
Out of 10.
Out of 10.
What would you put it at? Out of 10 Mjolnirs. How many Mjolnirs would you give it?
Okay, standalone by itself.
Yeah.
Out of 10.
Yep.
By itself, I would probably give it an 8.5.
Okay. I would give it a 9.
Okay.
A solid 9. I mean, great movie. It's in my top 5 of best Marvel movies.
I'll have to reserve judgment.
Oh, okay.
I'll have to reserve judgment on that one.
But it's still up there, though. Like,
It's still up there. I mean, if it's not in the top 5, it's like 6.
Gotcha. It's just out.
So, but I don't know, because I'm trying to think of my top 5 off the top of my head. I don't know.
It's tough.
But that's pretty much everything that we have for you guys
Yeah.
today about Thor. It was a great movie. If you haven't seen it in a while, go back, watch the movie. It's still awesome.
It's
to
a great
this
time.
day, it's still amazing.
It's a great time.
So before we leave, we just want to let you know to like, comment, and subscribe on all of our material. Follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. Right now, we are still doing our Marvel giveaway.
Oh, here it is. Here's what we're giving away right here in the center between both of us.
Okay, there's going to be a picture there eventually.
No, it is now.
Nope.
There's a picture there.
There's a picture? Okay.
There's a picture there.
Sounds good.
Imagine.
Imagination.
Ooh.
So we're doing that. And then that's pretty much all we have for you today. Greg, was there anything else that we wanted to mention besides the giveaway? We're still continuing March, following us on. We've done all that. Oh, how do people get entered in the giveaway?
Yeah, so make sure that you go on any of our social media platforms and you repost this posting of this podcast or share this picture of the trinket that you can win, the Iron Man pin, and make sure you tag a friend or a family member, and you can post it as many times as you want. You can tag as many people as you want in separate posts, just so you can put your name in.
Because the more time you do posts, the more
it'll help you win.
The more we're going to take that into a consideration.
Exactly. So make sure you do that, because we are excited to give our first ever giveaway out. It's going to be awesome, and there is more to come. But again, thank you so much for watching. Make sure you subscribe, hit that notification button to make sure you're notified whenever we post new content. It's just going to be a great time going forward.
All right, excellent, man. It was a good time. You guys have a good one, all right?
Yes, thank you so much, and I hope you enjoyed your one and only place to get your Disney fix.
Peace.